When a college issues an honorary degree, it does so because the recipient of the degree is someone who upholds and lives an example of something that we want for ourselves and our college community. This year, we are so very proud to honor a very accomplished and inspirational artist and designer, Nontsikelelo Mutiti. Will Mercedes Bryan and Nontsikelelo Mutiti come to the podium? Ooh, I was supposed to do that at the end. Y'all are here. Nancy. All right, so I am going to read this, but I'm also going to tell you what's happening right now is I'm fanboying a lot, but I'm also trying to behave myself. In the age of social media and awareness, I've spent the past 5 years following Nontsikelelo Mutiti's work with so much admiration. So I am particularly excited to be able to read this. Nontsikelelo Mutiti's practice extends beyond the boundaries of fine art, design, and public engagement. It resists classification. The Zimbabwean-born visual artist and educator, Mutiti's practice centers the cultural legacy and future of Black and African diasporic aesthetics through innovative and conceptual approaches to design. From murals to print media to video, Mutiti has created a distinct and powerful visual language that grounds itself in the historical while also remaining deeply personal. Her expansive interpretation of design is exemplified in such inspiring projects as her collaborative 2021 Black Fang mural, which enlivened a Washington, D.C. block with bold color and the iconography of Black beauty and hair care products. In 2015, Mutiti co-founded Black Chalk & Company, establishing a nimble and sustainable publishing platform centered around Black identity and diaspora, and building towards a futurity that is cross-cultural and international. In her role as an educator and director of graduate studies in graphic design at the Yale School of Art, Mutiti has dedicated her career to mentoring and uplifting the voices of the under-recognized. In grateful appreciation of her artistic contributions and leadership in the arts, the Doctor of Fine Arts honoris causa is bestowed upon Nontsikelelo Mutiti.
By the authority of the Board of Trustees of Montserrat College of Art, I confer upon Nontsikelelo Mutiti the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, honors, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Nancy, if we could. Oh, please, pictures. Okay. Nancy, it's time for you.
I'm waiting for my resupply of Kleenex.
Oh.
Is the box of tissues out there?
I got it.
Tissues?
Here we go. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to join the crying club here. Okay. Just have to make sure my speech is in the right place. Wow, what an honor to be with you today. I mean, it's a bigger honor than even receiving this honorary doctorate, and I didn't want to believe it until you actually put the hood on me. I haven't said anything about it to anyone besides one of my siblings. This really a fulfillment of a joke I've had for many, many years, but it will unfold during my speech. So, President Brian Pillinen, also can you all hear me? Yes. Perfect, wonderful. President Brian Pillinen, Board Chair Mercedes Sherrod Evans, esteemed trustees, deans, parents, families, biological, blended, and chosen, friends, workers, there's so many people that work to get us all in this place and organize all the media, everything all the seats. Thank you so much for people that helped put today together, the ushers, the volunteers. Thank you for being here today. It's such an important day. We're really here to celebrate 74 special people, the graduates of Montserrat College of Art, class of 2024. Congratulations to you. I come from a country in the southernmost part of Africa, a small teapot-shaped country called Zimbabwe. By the time I left my country to study at university level, there was only one university with a studio art program offering a degree. When I finished high school in 2020, I had looked at many art schools in the US. I saw Parsons, Ringling, SCAD, but I didn't see Montserrat. This is a plug to the admissions team. You're missing out if you don't have Zimbabwean students here. You need to sort that out. But to be fair, I didn't even sniff a formal art education for 7 years after I graduated from high school, because there were no programs to go to in my country, and even though I knew of all these programs abroad, I could not afford any of them, so I had to make my own university. There was no name, there was no mascot, but there were teachers. There were colleagues and mentors. My libraries, materials, and studios were spread out all over the city in really unexpected places. What made me even want to pursue art making in Zimbabwe, a country with no art school? I want to tell you about what made it possible for me to persist for those 7 years of uncertainty about whether I could even get a formal degree for studying art. To do so, I have to introduce you to the people who have been instrumental to my growth as a human and artist. Without them, I would not have known that being an artist was possible. I know that standing before you here today at this podium registers that I've attained a level of success in your minds. But I'd be really dishonest if I didn't acknowledge all the help I had along the way. Class of 2024, I hope this helps you reflect on those important anchors who helped you achieve this summit. So, partner in crime number one, my mother. Along with my father, she was one of the first Black physicians in our country. I wanted to be just like her, and one day I told her just that. I thought she would be impressed by my ambition, or at least flattered, but her response was quite different. My mother asked me why I would want to spend 8 years studying something I didn't love. She had noticed my talent for art and encouraged me to pursue that as a career. She told me that our society needed artists too. I was confused. Her advice was the complete opposite of what everything else around me affirmed. I'd never seen a Zimbabwean who called themselves an artist. All my relatives wanted me to be a doctor, lawyer, nurse, maybe engineer. All of them wanted at least one of the 4 children in my parents' brood to become a medical doctor just like them. But without my mother, I would have never thought of myself as an artist. She gave me permission to forge a path no one else in my life had imagined. Next, Mrs. Lannis, who I now call Jo. It's always wonderful to have teachers and then be able to use their first name eventually. She was my social studies teacher when I was 10 years old. I'll never forget seeing her bright red letters at the bottom of my homework. If only you paid as much attention to the rest of your work as you did to drawing. I was very surprised by this note. I thought everyone else could draw like me. I thought all the other students' homework books looked like mine. But it turned out my book full of drawings illustrating concepts that we were learning was very unique. I put a lot of effort into illustrating the essays and assignment sheets in all my subjects. Books without pictures are so boring. So I'd create illustrations across the entire page spread. To this day, I design books for other artists, more images than words. I've designed books for almost every cultural institution in New York City, but I've also dedicated my practice to designing publications that represent the work and cultural production of academics and cultural producers from the African diaspora. 8 years later, Jo gave me my first teaching job, teaching art students aged 6 to 12. She was going on leave and wanted to leave the whole department in my care. I was only 19 at the time, so I just left high school. After seeing those old notebooks, she knew very early on what I'd spent my life doing. As a teacher, I took what I'd been doing at age 10 and expanded it into an art curriculum for the entire school. I learned that I had something significant in my hand, even if I was using it in a way that didn't seem all that helpful when it was discovered. My mother, Jo, and countless other teachers taught me to see my work as serious, necessary, and valuable. When I was finished with high school, I didn't feel that my inability to not get an art degree could keep me from being an artist. Instead, I held a few consecutive full-time teaching positions at other schools in the city. I kept painting and drawing to develop my visual language, and I spent a lot of time at the National Art Gallery reading about international artists. To connect to the community of artists in my home country, I curated art exhibitions featuring artists who I admired and got to know well, and participated in a few of those exhibitions myself. I also designed sets for dance and theater. I painted huge banners for community organizations that I was connected to. During that time, I also shadowed an artist named John Gusinyu to better understand what it means to be a visual artist in the country. By the time I started art school at Yale School of Art at age 27, I was well versed in what it meant to research, to study, collaborate, to build complex projects, and work with mentors. I say all this to demonstrate that, like my mother and Jo taught me, you often have more than you realize just by being open, curious, and willing. Our societies do not always value signs of artistic ability early. The degree being conferred upon you, class of 2024, today proves that you are resourceful, capable artists, and there is no reason to wait for institutional license to pursue the fulfillment of your vision in the world, even those that may have seemed impossible. But Nonsi, you say, what if I run out of money? Or what if I run out of ideas? And what if I get how to, etc., etc.? Trust me, I spent 7 years between high school and university, so you don't have to. If you are willing to ask for help and to continuously approach making as a student, the resources you need to grow as an artist or whatever you choose to do will be available. In fact, they are already part of you. Okay, back to family. Let me tell you about my younger sister, Tenjiwe. She's only 2 years younger than me. We were basically brought up like twins. We were dressed alike. We also look very alike. But we are different in one important way. Tenjiwe always tells me, stop playing what if. She could not understand why I thought about things through the lens of fear and anxiety, always anticipating what I desired could never happen to me. I've long wondered how she managed to live without playing the same game, without that what-if lens overshadowing everything. But recently, after having a conversation with her about a music festival that she started years ago and is reviving after about 5 years, I realized that Tenjiwe does play what if, but in a very different way. What if for her is a statement predicated on curiosity and potential. It is a mischievous what if, a daring what if, that wants to test the boundaries of things and the boundaries of the self. but don't take my word for it. I eventually did make it to grad school, which made even more connections possible for me. It seems miraculous to me that I attended Yale School of Art, given my biography. So you can imagine how terrified and awestruck I was when I started to meet all these incredible artists. And I'll tell you about one very important figure in closing. Chris O'Feely visited the program during my first year. And art students, please look Chris O'Feely up if you've never encountered the work. Well, graduates, you're forever students. You're forever students. This is the moral of the story, right? I'd already been a long-standing admirer of his work by that point, and didn't think he could impress me to any greater extent, but he did. Firstly, he had traveled to my home country, which is so rare to encounter people in the United States that have, traveled to Zimbabwe, especially contemporary artists. He's also even more handsome in person than I could have imagined. But it was not his relationship to my homeland or his good looks or incredible body of work that truly captivated me. In his lecture, he said something that I can't put out of my mind to this day. He said, "Don't let what you did yesterday stop you from doing what you want to do today." He told us a story about wanting so badly to see an elephant in real life when he went to Zimbabwe on a residency program. He was sad that he didn't see a single elephant even when he went on safari. What he did see was a lot of elephant dung. The safari guide was using it to track how to find the herd. Chris decided to pick up some of the dung, but don't worry, it was dry. It basically looks like caked dry grass, like really long dry grass. And he returned to the United Kingdom with it. The dung stayed in the studio for some time, and one day, whilst preparing for a studio visit, he used 2 balls of it to raise a painting off the floor. When a curator came in, they were in awe of what they felt was a really bold and daring move. That wasn't Chris's original intention, but it became his signature for a very long time. He ended his lecture by telling us how he had moved to Trinidad to get away from the pressures of the gallery world so that he could make what he wanted. He had gotten tired of the paintings propped up by dung and wanted something else for himself. This is after having 2 decades of major institutional exhibitions where this strategy was a major thing, and everyone really knew him for these paintings standing on top of dung, and the dung was now starting to get into the paintings. I still need to ask him where he was getting all the dung after that. Maybe, maybe zoos, I don't know. Zimbabwe should claim some, money for that, helping it, But his gallery wasn't supportive of him moving away from that strategy. So he left England and went to a place where he could start over and discover what else he could make. This is how his famous blue-black paintings were born. Again, make sure you look this work up. These paintings were inspired by the absence of light pollution in Trinidad's night sky. They were inspired by what he saw when we're not supposed to see anything. Chris is a master of seeing what you have when it doesn't look like what you expect. So again, don't let what you did yesterday stop you from what you want to do today. Chris taught me to stay in touch with my curiosity, even when it diverges from what I had done in the past. In closing, class of 2024, there is no straight road to success, but lessons and teachers, past and present, will always guide you. Be present to catch unexpected gems that might not look like much at first. Play what if so you can expand. Be open to opportunities. Be truly pioneering. Thank you.